Craig stood at the railing, flanked by his wife, Lindsay, and their 2 children. To any observer, they were the picture of a polished American success story. But behind Craig's practiced Today Show smile was a lingering exhaustion, not from the news cycle, but from the complex, multi-layered history of the Melvin lineage that always seemed to resurface when the South Carolina heat rose. The quiet arrival. The plan was simple: a week of off-grid living. No teleprompters, no makeup chairs, just the Gullah Geechee Oaks and family. However, the tension arrived before the suitcases were even unpacked. Craig's brother, Lawrence, had arrived early, and the silence between them was a physical presence in the room. For years, Craig had been the bridge builder, the one who translated their family's struggles into narratives of hope for a national audience. But you can't narrate your way out of a sibling's resentment. Lawrence, who had stayed closer to home while Craig's star ascended in New York, carried the weight of local expectations and the shadow of their father's complicated legacy. The breaking point. The hidden struggle wasn't a single event, but a series of micro-fissures. It surfaced Tuesday night over a simple dinner of low-country boil. "You look at everything through a lens, Craig," said Lawrence, his voice low as the kids played in the next room. "You see the reconciliation before the work is even done. Out here, we're still dealing with the dirt, not the story." The comment stung. Craig realized that in his effort to be the family's success story, he had inadvertently become a visitor in his own history. He was the man with the answers, which meant he had stopped being the man who listens. That night, the humid air was thick with the sound of cicadas and the things left unsaid. Craig walked out to the porch, finding his mother sitting in a rocking chair, watching the moon reflect off the marsh. "You're trying to host the vacation, Craigie," she said softly, using his childhood nickname. "You don't need to host us. You just need to be here." The unexpected shift. The reconciliation didn't happen during a grand speech. It happened Wednesday morning, triggered by a mechanical failure. The old golf cart they were using to explore the island died in the middle of a sandy trail miles from the rental house. As the midday sun began to bake the path, the news anchor persona evaporated. Craig and Lawrence were forced to push the heavy vehicle together. Sweat soaked their shirts, their shoulders strained in unison. "Remember the old Buick?" Lawrence muttered, gasping for air. "The one Dad made us push halfway across Columbia because he didn't want to pay for a tow?" "Exactly," Lawrence said. In that moment, the hierarchy of famous brother and local brother vanished. They were just 2 sons of the South, laughing at the absurdity of their shared past. They sat down in the shade of a massive moss-draped live oak to catch their breath. The unveiling. Away from the dinner table and the expectations of a perfect vacation, the real conversation began. Craig admitted his guilt, the survivor's remorse of moving away, and the fear that he was losing his grip on his roots. Lawrence admitted his pride, the defensive wall he built to prove he didn't need his brother's influence. They talked about their father's journey with sobriety, not as a polished segment for a morning show, but as a raw, ongoing family ache. They acknowledged that reconciliation isn't a destination you reach, it's a trail you keep clear of weeds. A new narrative. By the time they headed back to the mainland on Sunday, the family dynamic had shifted. The hidden struggles hadn't disappeared, but they were no longer secrets. They were common ground. As the ferry pulled away, Craig didn't look at the horizon through the eyes of a storyteller looking for a hook. He looked back at his brother, who was showing Craig's son how to tie a specific fishing knot. The vacation hadn't been the relaxing escape the brochures promised. It had been something much better, an honest confrontation. Craig realized that his greatest role wasn't being the voice of a generation, but being a brother who was willing to get his hands dirty in the unedited, unscripted parts of home.